Hello everyone, it's Events Body again with another video. If you hear a buzzing sound, that's my laptop. Okay, it's not a vacuum cleaner, it's a laptop that's actually cooling. So just bear with me for now, and let's get through this video. What I'd like to discuss today is what's being happening in science studies and research studies about protein. And some studies have been saying that you don't need to worry about the spreading the protein intake throughout the day. Some studies said that you need to spread your protein throughout the day, and so on and so on. So let's take this confusion out of the way. Okay, so first of all, what happens when you eat protein? Okay, when you eat protein, your synthesis of your protein in your body increases. Okay, so you need about 20 grams in a healthy adult. You need about 20 grams to stimulate that. Okay, so your synthesis of your protein stimulates at about 20 grams. The bigger you are, maybe 30, 40, you're requiring obviously for adequate amount, but 20 grams is when it stimulates. Okay, so each time you eat, it stimulates, and then after 3 hours, about 3 hours, your synthesis of your protein actually drops. Okay, and so on and so on. So it just goes up and down. So every time you intake your protein, about 20 grams, okay, it spikes, and then after 3 hours drops, and then so on and so on. This is where the idea of eating every 3 hours came to play. Okay, 3 to 4 hours. Now what happens in some of these studies? The studies said, you just need a total amount of calories in a day, so you don't have to worry about the timing. You don't have to worry about meeting the protein requirements in one meal and another meal, another meal, another meal. Okay, those studies have been done on people who are not trained, okay, and who are not after the optimal muscle growth. Okay, if you want muscle growth, look at the studies that are actually showing that spreading your protein intake 30 to 40 grams each meal, let's say 4 to 5 meals, is better for muscle growth. Okay, and the reason why, it is a science behind it. Okay, each time, as I said, each time you take in about 20 grams of protein, this is when you stimulate your synthesis of your protein. This is where it stimulates 20 grams. Now imagine, let's say you took in 5 grams in one meal, 10 grams in another meal, 15 grams in another meal, and then 100 grams in another meal. Well, you are pretty much wasting the other 5, 10, whatever. Anything less than 20 is pretty much wasted protein, okay? Because it doesn't actually get utilized as well. So what you need to do, if you want muscle hypertrophy, if you want optimal muscle hypertrophy, stick to separating your protein meals 30 to 40 grams, and depends on your muscle size. Okay, you got to remember, the bigger you are, the more protein you'll need, and don't worry about having too much protein. You look at the 2 grams per kilo of your body weight, okay, kilo of your muscle mass. Okay, so 2 grams per kilo, work that out. If you are actually dropping your carbs, up your protein. Okay, your protein intake is also going to stimulate the thermogenic effect of food, so you actually are better utilizing food for fat loss. Okay, so if you want a even better fat loss, your protein intake should be higher anyway. Okay, so don't worry about that. Research has not supported any effect on kidneys and liver in terms of the higher protein intake, so you should be looking into that. So my suggestion is 30 to 40 grams in each meal. Again, depends on the size of you, what you have, how big you are. Obviously, Mr. Olympia is not going to do anything with a 30 to 40 grams, so they'll need a lot more. They might even need 100 grams of protein per meal. I don't know. Okay, so it depends on their body weight. Depends on how they're actually better utilizing that. Obviously, the drugs as well. You got to understand that anabolic steroids increase that synthesis of your protein, so you are actually better off utilizing it. So again, there's a lot of variables in that, but rule of thumb, spread your protein intake in each meal evenly, close to evenly. It doesn't have to be exactly on the dot, but let's say you're taking in 30 grams one day, one meal 35, another meal 40, about 45, whatever. Okay, but they're close, okay, and they're more than 20 grams, okay, or 20 grams. Do not have less if you want that optimal muscle hypertrophy and also optimal fat loss. Now, in saying that, okay, you got to also understand that you can do your own research. Okay, you can do all that and see it for yourself. Another thing that came to question is the protein timing. Okay, what they used to say is that now the current research says that you don't need to time your protein. You don't need to shove your protein down your throat straight after training. Okay, you don't need to eat immediately after training. You came home, you don't be scared of wasting half an hour without food or an hour without food. I'm not saying that you should be scared, but is there any benefit? Just ask yourself, is there any benefit to you not eating straight after training? Is there any benefit? No benefit at all. Okay, so while they're saying you don't need to do this, you don't need to eat straight after training, is there any benefit of not eating? No. So if you want optimal muscle growth, as I said, you don't have to eat immediately. You don't have to shove your protein shake straight down, but within an hour, why wouldn't you eat? Unless you had something to do, unless you had work or other commitments, what's the reason of not eating straight after training? Give me a reason, please. If these research articles can show me the benefits of not eating straight after training, fair enough. But there's no benefit to it. Okay? Absolutely no benefit. Your GH levels may increase with just protein intake, okay, without carbs and whatever, but it's not a significant amount. Okay? So again, what is the problem of eating straight after training? You have to understand that the anecdotal evidence as well as science will show you that spreading those protein meals throughout the day, as I said, every 3 hours will yield better results. So if you had your training session that lasted for a couple of hours and you haven't eaten an hour before training, why wouldn't you eat straight after? Okay? So to conclude this, and this is very important video, you got to understand that your protein intake is extremely important for your muscle hypertrophy. You have to eat your protein, not just your hypertrophy, but also fat loss. Okay, thermogenic effects of food. Okay, your protein intake takes more energy to burn than carbs and fats. Okay, to metabolize. Okay, so high protein intake also means better fat loss. Simple as that. So if you want muscle hypertrophy or if you want fat loss, you have to up your protein and try to make it throughout the day. Okay, spread it even throughout the day. Again, as I said to you, it doesn't have to be exactly on the dot, 30 grams, or 40. No. Can be a difference of 5, 10 grams, whatever. Okay, but do not have any less than 20. Anyway, that's the video for today. Subscribe if you want to subscribe. Ask me any questions that you want to ask. Remember, I may not get to your question straight away, but believe me, I will try to answer all your questions. Okay? Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys soon.